Hello, hello, hello. Let me just turn the music down a little bit, but welcome to Hobby Night. Let's get some painting done. Let's get some preparation done. I haven't done this for a little while, so I figured tonight would be a good chance to sit down and get some work done. If anyone joins in, let me know if you're in the chat or anything and you want to say hello. You're more than welcome. I'm going to be painting Moonstone Miniatures tonight, or at least hopefully get started on them. I've got a bit more prep work to do, to be honest, but hopefully we'll get some paint down on something soon. These are the ones that I built a couple of weeks ago now. I built them on stream. I've since cleaned them and then I primed them today. So, but the next stage is I need to do a zenith highlight on them. So I will be doing that. So as you can see, they're all, well, these ones are all black at the moment. Much better this time. I used a toothbrush and some slightly hot water and a bit of soap to get the resin release agent off, and it's meant the prime has gone down so much better this time around. So I'm really glad I did that, because that has worked out really well. Yeah, they're not totally covered in primer because I am coming back with like a second sort of covering with the white. To give it that zenith, but meanwhile I need to do these two. So I've got the let me just move that camera a little smidge. Yeah, I've got the bloated bullfrog here to do, and then the airship. So these are both those. So yeah, I'm going to crack on with that. Any questions about what I'm doing and like that, please don't be afraid to ask. I will be turning the airbrush on, but hopefully you won't pick it up on the mic. That's the plan. Now, because this model is quite awkward to hold, I'm going to have to airbrush it in two stages. I'm going to have to airbrush it this way, and then when it's dry, hold it this way and airbrush it the other way. Just because I don't have anything to stick it on at the moment. I was trying to see if I had a little wooden stick or something I could jam up inside of it so that I could hold it and prime it, but it would seem like I can't do that, so we'll just go with this method. It'll be fine. Just give the old airbrush a good clean out. So I'd left some paint in there, which is very naughty, so you shouldn't do that if you can avoid it. Right, I want me black. So I always use the Badger Stynal Res stuff. Let me know if the music's too loud or too quiet or anything, if you are listening. Hopefully it should just be a bit of background noise while we chill out. Yeah, so this is a black primer from a company called Badger. And they do a really nice flat black. And the same with the white. The white's really nice too. So. Hey Cotton, hey buddy, you alright? Been a little while since I've seen you, mate. You all good? Yes, this is definitely going to have to be one I do in a couple of stages, just because of the awkwardness of holding it and trying to get primer onto it. But I think we'll be okay. It just means I can see, as you can see, that I've wiped it off on his face there, which is a little bit annoying. Yes, all good, mate. Yeah, all good indeed. not got much hobby done this year, so I wanted to crack on and get a bit done. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave that like that, because every time I touch it, I am wiping off, with the gloves, I'm wiping off the primer, so I'm going to be a bit careful with that one. This one's going to be exactly the same, because again, I've got no way of holding it without holding the miniature, so that's not ideal. Yeah, yeah, work is just kicking my ass. That's a... Sorry to hear that, buddy. I hope it's alright, though. So what I'll probably do is let's just get a layer down on this, and then I'll let it dry and come back to it. Because I'm not going to be able to get everything I want to get. Yeah, I think I'll do that for now. Let it dry, and then I'll come back with another pass. But what I can do is I can move on to the white, and I can do the Dennis highlight. So yeah, so what I'm going to do on these ones, I'm going to use a white primer and just come in from the top to highlight everything. I am going to be a bit heavy with it because I am using contrast paints and they go terrible over black. But it will still leave black in the sort of deepest recesses, which is what you want. Yeah, that's giving me a good spray. So yeah, so I'm looking to go from about, not quite dead on top, but about 45 degrees. Like that. And actually with this miniature, I'm probably going to do the majority of this miniature with the airbrush. Because it's a big... yeah, most of this is going to be fur, so it'll be perfect for doing it with the airbrush. So that's probably what I'm going to do. So. And then I'm going to concentrate more white on the very tips, on the highest point of the miniature. There we go. And a bit too much. I think my pressure might be a bit too high, but Yeah, so there we go. Again, just looking to, so under the belly there and other places, you've still got your darkest recess. There we go. Job's a good one. So we'll let those dry for a sec. Got a bit of cleaner in there. Hey Janus, welcome. Thank you for coming in and saying hello. Give this a bit of a shush around. Ah, Jim, happy unbirthday. Merry happy unbirthday to you, to you. That's the Alice in Wonderland song, isn't it? That's quite funny. It's quite funny. Yeah, your Facebook said it was your birthday. Well, in Alice in Wonderland, that's what they celebrate. They celebrate the unbirthday, don't they? Because you've only got one birthday a year, but you've got 364 unbirthdays. So it's better to celebrate your unbirthdays than it is your actual birthday. So, and genuinely today, you actually had an unbirthday. You had you were getting best wishes from everybody for a birthday that wasn't your birthday. It's the best kind of birthday. Oh, this round's on me. Hey man, how you doing? Thank you. Why did my chat not come up? Hopefully you didn't say that too long ago. This round's on me. I didn't mean to miss you. Why did that not flash up on there? I'm gonna have to copy this over now. Bring the chat over. This round's on me. Thank you guys for coming in and saying hello. Oh, right. So I want to go back to. I'm going to move these guys out of the way for a second. So there's my huge were-rabbit thing and my little gnome, the big giant. We're going to bring the bloated frog and airship back. Here we go. There's the blown up frog. So we're going to grab the airbrush again and we're going to go back over, because now they've dried a little bit, I can go back in with another colour and hit it again. Well, thank you everyone that's popping in and saying hello. It's very, very nice. Yeah, the were-rabbit. I forget what it's actually called. It does have a proper name. I'm not sure it's a were-rabbit. It's called what is that thing called? I can't remember what it's called. It's but it is a giant rabbit, and it. Jabberwocky, that's it, Jim. Yes, a Jabberwocky. There we go. Which is admittedly a better name than were-rabbit, but and this thing is just amazing. Just a giant frog, but a blimmin' awkward miniature to the Prime. So this isn't ideal what I'm having to do here, but it will needs must. I'm going to need a way to fix it to something, otherwise painting it is going to be an absolute nightmare. That is a bridge I am going to have to cross at some point. Okay. Let's try and place this. Oh, I'm going to have to hold this for a second, because if I put it down right now, it's going to mark the second I put it down. But yeah, so this is the gnome airship, and then the other one is the goblin airship. Great movie as well. Have I ever seen a movie called Jabberwocky? Maybe not. The only thing I know were-rabbits from is the Wallace and Gromit were-rabbit, where Wallace actually turns into a were-rabbit. Well, he is a were-rabbit. He goes around ruining everyone's crops. Right, now if I'm very careful, I should be able to hold this and do the underside of it now. Yeah, I'm going to leave it like that. Still not ideal because it's still coming off on the fingers. I need to leave it alone for a little bit. I'm getting too touchy. It's a cool movie from '77, directed by Terry Gilliam. No, I've definitely don't. Well, maybe I have. Probably what? Maybe I have. There's lots of films that I've seen that I don't remember me seeing. So potentially, if I saw it, maybe I'd recognise it. I'll have to look it up. I'll have to look it up. Right, let's get into some actual painting. Let's do this guy first because I think this will be easy. So what colour do we want to do our Jabberwocky? We could go traditional brown. Let's see if pictures of a Jabberwocky exist on the internet. Let's have a look. Let's get some inspiration. Jabberwocky. Images. It looks nothing like this. These Jabberwockies are more like dragons. Let's go onto the Moonstone. Let's go onto the Moonstone, Moonstone's website. Let's have a look. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's not a Jabberwocky. Maybe it's something else. Moonstone. Moonstone. Oh, can't spell Moonstone the game. There we go. Goblin King James games. Let's find out. Let's find out what this thing is. Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. Oh, come on, guys! Give me a break. Give me one long list to scroll through. There's a Wendigo. That's a cool looking miniature. Oh, come on. You're gonna make it's gonna be the last it's gonna be like the last page of miniatures, isn't it? God damn you. These I think it's under the it does not want to play. This website does not want to play ball with me. This is not entertaining. Me trying to figure out how to use this website. It must be under. Yeah, it's under Fawns. Okay, right. Seriously, come on. Oh, it's a jackalope. It's not a Jabberwocky. It's a jackalope. There we go. Not a Jabberwocky, jackalope. Okay. We got there. So I'm going to go for a fairly dark fur and then a lighter colour sort of belly fur. So there we go. So we're going to go with skeleton horde on the belly and gore grunter fur on this sort of outer bit. Hey Nerdy Geezer, hello my friend. He was a Jabberwocky jackalope. Well, this is a jackalope. The Jabberwocky seems to be more dragon-like. There we go. I mean, it's obvious now. Nerdy Geese, I realised I've just streamed over the top of Retrobait's premiere, which was not intentional. I'll have to... It's so hard, man. There's so many people on YouTube and stuff now. It's almost impossible not to end up doing something over the top of somebody else. I must admit, I just grabbed the opportunity to get the stream going. Just don't put that in. Well, the jackalope is nightmare inducing, or the Yeah, so I kind of want to stop there and then come back with the lighter colour on like the belly. So let's go deep into there. I want to make it stronger in the sort of recess areas. What have we got going on? Yes, 16 bits and bobs. 16 bits and bobs. We have to get very excited when you join. I can never have your enthusiasm, my friend. Cotton candy airbrush. I would recommend the Badger 105, simply because it's just a bloody good airbrush that is a workhorse. You can buy really fancy, expensive ones, but I always use my 105. I've got really fancy, expensive. I've got an airbrush that was £300. I never touch it. Just combine them and make a Jackalockie. Yeah, very good. What do I go? So this is a Jackalope from the game Moonstone, 16 bits and bobs. So yes, but lots of interesting ones this week. We've got the one that's currently drying, which is my Goblin airship, which is made out of a bloated frog. There you go. Oh yeah, I don't muck about. Well, this is the nice one about this miniature, is I can do the majority of this with an airbrush. So yes, it's 16 bits and bobs. Yeah, I know. I watched your sketches this today. Very funny. Is it a true story? Did you all meet in an arcade at 16? I hope it's a true story. But yes, cotton candy, I would recommend the Badger 105, just because there aren't many working parts to it, so it's really easy to take apart and clean. It's solid steel, the whole thing, so you can chuck it in a sonic cleaner and all of this stuff. There's no little rubber rings or anything you have to worry about. It's all just, you know, it's a proper piece of kit. That's what I would recommend. I've always recommended it. £300 for an airbrush. I bought a brush from B&Q for £3. Well, I can show you it. Look, I'll open it up so you can see it. Go, ooh. This is what a £300 airbrush looks like. Ready? Oh, drum roll. Oh, it's some limited edition. What number's mine? This is number 54. It's like Excalibur. I never use it, but it's got, like, you know, lovely little goldy thing here, and the coat of paint on the side. But that's as far as it gets. It stays in the box. No, I'm quite a bit older than those guys, so fiction story made up. Oh, well, it was a lovely story anyway. Exactly, fancy. But the reality is I use this one, and this is just good old American-made steel. Look at that. It's the Badger 105 Patriot USA. USA. So, you know, can't go wrong with that, can you? Yeah, that's what if I was recommending anyone to get an airbrush, that would be the one I recommend. And if you live in America, it's super cheap. I think in America it's about $60 or $70. In the UK, it's a bit more expensive, I'm guessing, because they have to ship it over. So it's more like, I think I paid £100 for mine. I think I paid £99 for it. Yeah, you know. Right, so with this one, I'm going to go with a bit of a lighter colour for the belly fur. Yeah, honestly, even over the Iwata, for ease of use, I honestly would go with the Badger. I like how simplistic it is, you know, for cleaning and maintaining. It's very forgiving. Did I get any further with Blade Runner? No, but I worked out why I didn't get any further. I was missing an entire mechanic. I was missing the ability to ask specific questions. So when you're interacting with someone, you should be able to pick from a load of questions you want to ask them. And for some reason, I need to just blow my nose quickly because I'm having a bit of a runny nose situation. I was missing a whole mechanic where you can choose your questions. So, because I thought I've got to check this out why I can't progress, and it's because I need to go to that chef. Do you remember in the restaurant there was the guy out the back who was just cooking the pot and I couldn't do anything with him? I need to go and see him and then ask him a specific question, not look for a reflection. No, and still not looking at that bloody puddle. So I can go back to that game now and progress, and it will probably open up very quickly for me. Yeah, so I'll give you an example, cotton candy, on that. So this airbrush is a Steinenbeck. So I've got 3 airbrushes. I've got the really fancy one, I've got the Badger 105, and I've got this one. Now this one, it just, when you have to clean this thing, I mean, it literally is hundreds of parts. Like, you're just constantly taking bits out and you know, unscrewing. It just goes on and on and on, so you feel like you've stripped down a blooming car by the time you've actually taken it all apart, where the other one is like 2 or 3 bits. So I mean, I can do this now because I've done it hundreds of times, but the Badger is just so much easier. And as you can see, this one's not even in great shape because I haven't cleaned it in such a long time. I feel like one of those assassin movies where the guy strips his rifle down in like 3 seconds and puts it back together again. It feels like. This is my rifle. I would avoid, you can definitely pick up a cheap, if you just want to use an airbrush for like priming miniatures and stuff, you can pick up a cheap knockoff, not knockoff, but just a cheap one off of wish.com or something like that, but you will find that they are junk, and if they break or fall apart. Retro Chef, hello my friend. Yeah, if you buy a sort of Chinese sort of cheap one, then yeah, you get what you pay for. But if you do find a bundle that comes with an air compressor with a tank, that's how my tank is just a crappy no brand air compressor, but get one with a tank because then you get a better air pressure. One of the ones I want to try out is there's new handheld ones that have almost got like a mini compressor built into the airbrush, so you're wire free. You charge it and then you're wire free whilst you're airbrushing. That could be really cool. Yes, good evening Retro Chef. Red and white colours for Arsenal. Arsenal? Get out. This is a Liverpool supporters house, or Charlton Athletic. Charlton because it's our local club, but I was a Liverpool supporter since I was a kid, so I'm afraid. I actually got to meet Roy Evans once. I got to meet Robbie Fowler once. I got to meet the entire Liverpool team when I was a kid. It was very exciting. We just signed Stan Collymore, and I got to meet the entire team. Yes, Retronic Collector. The Hobby Lodge has two things in it: retro video games and then miniature wargaming. So yeah, I paint obviously little figures and busts and all sorts of things. Hundreds and hundreds of miniatures for like Warhammer and all those sorts of games. Yeah. Man, I'm super happy, guys. Everyone's coming in and saying hello. Very, very appreciated. So yeah, I need to let this dry now because obviously this is very wet from that contrast paint. But what I want to do is keep it lighter on the face and the chest and the belly fur, and then darker on the back, and then we'll do the antlers and stuff like that. What I will probably do is grab a bit of I want to go fairly dark. I don't want to go black, but I want to go... We'll try Basilicum Grey. We'll give this a try and see if this is dark enough. I used to support Liverpool FC until my late 30s, since a teenager. Yeah, I was, you know... I've always been a Liverpool supporter since I was a little kid. I mean, I'm a supporter in the loosest possible terms. I can't say that I go to games. I can't say I even really watch it on telly unless it's a... you know, cup game or something that's on. I refuse to pay a fortune for things like Sky Sports stuff. I stopped watching the F1 when it went over to Sky because it's just ridiculous what they ask for. Just on principle, really. It's not a money thing. It's a principle thing. So yeah, but Charlton Athletic is our closest, biggest club, I guess. So. I do take my kids up to see them occasionally because you can go and see a game of football for quite cheap. But we're actually a rugby family. Everyone in the family plays rugby. Right. I'm going to put this on here to see what this looks like. This is the thing about painting miniatures, because I haven't painted a miniature for a few weeks. When you pick up the brush for the first time, it does feel a little bit awkward. What's that? Yeah, it is lovely to see so many people in the chat. Both, I've got some people over on Twitch saying hello, and some people on YouTube. It really, guys, I really appreciate you. You know. I'm a little bit annoyed at myself that I didn't think and I just went live and I realised I went over the top of Retrobait's premiere. That's a bit annoying. I try and avoid that when I can, but to be honest, the community in both retro video gaming and hobbying is so big, almost nigh impossible not to end up going over the top of somebody. I will definitely catch up on that video later on. This hasn't quite gone down the way I thought it would do, so... But we'll let it dry and then we'll come back to it. Yeah, I mean, the only time I ever got to see Liverpool when I was a kid is my aunt at the time, my uncle owned the pub attached to Wimbledon football ground. Before, at one point, Wimbledon did have a football ground and they used to play in the Premier League or whatever it was called back then. So whenever Liverpool played at Wimbledon, I could go and see them play. So that was great. And then Wimbledon moved to Crystal Palace. So they used to play at they used to share the ground at Crystal Palace. And my aunt at that point was on the council for Wimbledon, so she used to get tickets, and that's when I got players lounge tickets. So I used to go to Crystal Palace to see either Liverpool play Crystal Palace or Liverpool play Wimbledon, and then with the players lounge ticket I got to then go into the bar afterwards and actually sit and, you know, meet the players, and I got them to sign football bags and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, so the era that I was big into, it was obviously, you know, we'd just signed Stan Collymore for like 9 million, I think was the record signing at the time. Obviously Robbie Fowler, Steve McManaman. Yeah, it was a huge time. So yeah, This is the most relaxing whilst waiting for the train. Oh, good, man. Good. That's what I want this to be. It should be a hangout and chill and just a chat whilst I try and make a miniature look like a miniature. So yeah, they were big times. But then as I got older, that kind of didn't happen anymore. And it was super expensive to actually go and see Liverpool play at Anfield or anything like that. Or anywhere. I used to live in Crystal Palace. Oh, nice. Yeah, so yeah, at one point Wimbledon co-shared the grounds at Crystal Palace. So I used to go there and go to the ground, and yeah, it was really cool. And it was so funny because I met Razor Ruddock at one of these players' lounge. You know, old Razor. As a kid, and then well, actually, this was 2 years ago. I was out on a corporate do, and Razor Ruddock came to that as well. So I got to meet him for a second time at a company. I've got pictures of me and Razor Ruddock at the darts in Leeds, just shouting over. We had like a balcony in the arena in Leeds, and there was darts. I didn't know they had arenas for darts, but they did. So me and him are drinking champagne over this balcony, and at one point people must have got round that Razor Ruddock was up in the balcony. So there was a point. I'll have to find a way to put the video online. Maybe I'll stick it on YouTube or something. But at one point, the entire arena is looking at me and Razor Ruddock, and they're all shouting, "There's only one Razor Ruddock," and the darts basically stops whilst the entire arena shouts and screams at Razor Ruddock, and there's me standing next like this with him, going, "Whoa!" It was very funny. Yeah, for that horrendous name dropping, eh? But my God, was he a big? I mean, we had to walk through Leeds city centre with him, and he was. We didn't every 10 steps we had to stop for someone to take a photo with him or whatever. It was a nightmare. Didn't get anywhere. He's a massive guy as well. Crikey, I'm a big guy, and Razor Ruddock made me look tiny. Yeah, you wait for, are you coming home from work, bits and bobs? Are you on your way home? I'm lucky. I work in the Hobby Lodge, and also, this is basically my new home. I basically live in this small wooden box at the bottom of the garden. This is my life now. I don't like the way that's settled. That's not gone good. No, you wouldn't want to meet him in a dark alley. No, 100%. Razor Ruddock was, is a big, scary guy. I think, for those of you who know the area, I believe he lives in Gravesend. Old Razor Ruddock. Even though, because he and I, obviously, we spent the whole night chatting to each other. I mentioned that I lived in like London Kent border. He was like, "Oh yeah, I live down in Gravesend." And I was like, "Oh bloody hell, we only live probably half an hour or less than half an hour away." We didn't become mates. Yes, yeah, I'm very, very fortunate. I used to commute to London I commuted to London for nearly 20 years. I did the daily commute to London. So an opportunity came up to do a role based at home. So I thought, yeah, I'm gonna give it a crack. And then that's when I was working at home before all the lockdown stuff. So before all the sort of like forced home working. So for me, there was no change. When we went to, that remote working way of things, it didn't change to me. I was already doing it. From this distance, it looks like a mini roast chicken. Look, man, the jackalope. Look. I bet it was been. I bet it's been delayed. If it was the train wise, was looking at the cost of tickets to Devon and vastly increased a great deal since I was there. Oh man, yeah. I mean, train costs just kept going up and up year in year. I mean, I used to think my season ticket was a lot. I think my season ticket, the last time I bought one, was about £2.5 grand, maybe £3,000 for a season ticket. I live in zone 6, so just before it all goes outside of that. If you go one station the other way, you're outside zone 6, and the prices get astronomical. I live just enough outside of London to have a decent sized house and garden and all that sort of stuff, but close enough that going to London isn't a big deal. You know, you're talking 25 minutes on a train. But yes, very fortunate that I'm able to work fully remotely. I mean, don't get me wrong, it will be nice to get some sort of balance back between remote working and actually going in and seeing people. I think there's a lot to be said for actually working with people, but I certainly don't miss jumping on the train every day. Where did I just put a paint? I literally just picked up my Basilicum Grey and I put it down, and now I don't know where I put it. I don't know. I do this every time. Oh, there it is there. It does look like a roast chicken. Oh yeah, from that, yeah, I guess I'm just looking at what you guys are seeing. Yes, from that distance, I need to zoom you in. Look, zoom in a bit. There we go. But you're right, it has got a roast chicken-esque kind of look to it. Maybe that's something I need to fix. Well, there you go. There's a bit more horror-inducing now with the white eyes I've just given it. If your roast chicken looks like that, you're in trouble. Yes, mate. Yeah, Electronic Collector. Yes, anyone who knows me, and you all know me now. If you wanna visit the Hobby Lodge, you are more than welcome. Or we can definitely have a meet up in London. I'm definitely going to go to the next London games market. That would be cool. For those who like the hobby, we tend to try and have meetups at things like there's a big event called Salute every year. That's at the XL. So a bunch of us do try and meet up there. There's also things like UK Games Expo in Birmingham, which I tend to go to. But yeah. I'm trying to darken this down a little bit. Where is it? Yeah, I can ask Mrs. Hobby Lodge if she'll knock up some veg. Right, I actually want to do so. I'm going to leave. I'm actually going to move the roast chicken to one side. And we're going to do another miniature this time. We're going to grab this guy. And we're going to start on this one. Because that's got lots of wet paint on it. So I don't want to keep adding to it. So we're going to move on to the... So what you're trying to do is get all the base layers down. So this is... The way that I paint miniatures is I try and do a base layer of colour. So that gives me an idea of what I'm doing. And then I come back and then do all the detail work. So try and make, you know, the muscles look like muscles, the chain look like chain, materials and stuff like that. But the beginning's always a messy, it always looks messy in the beginning. It never looks that great. But hopefully by the time I finish, and because I did the zenith highlight on it, I'm already getting shadows in the paint because of the black and white undercoat, because the paint's quite see-through. Like underneath there where he's kind of belly's hanging over his trousers, the underside of the belly's already dark, so I don't have to go in and repaint shadow in. I'm already getting the shadow. So zenith highlighting is something I think I think most people do it now anyway. I don't think anyone painting miniatures, it's certainly not a new technique. I would definitely recommend it. It's one of those things, mate. You just you get better over time. You know, my first miniature painted compared to and this for me is total relaxation, right? So this is a break away from work, a break away from everything, and I can just sit here and paint miniatures. I've painted miniatures before for hours. I've done streams before that have been like 13-14 hours. Because to be honest, once I get into a groove, especially with live, this is why I love live streaming, and everyone should give it a go. Once you've got a bit of chat going, it's amazing. Like, just the time disappears, just boom, gone. Like the last hour, I've been streaming for an hour and it's just disappeared. You know? And I'm not even a very good painter. I'm an okay tabletop painter. I'm not like a competition winner or anything like that. You know, there are miniature painters out there that are astronomically good. You know, I tend to try and get a miniature what I call tabletop ready within an hour if I can. Depends on the miniature. Because if you're going to play these games, and some of these games are really involved, they are big games. It's much nicer to be pushing around the table like nicely painted miniatures than it is anything else. So I don't know if I'll show you something. So this is a game called Moonstone, and these are the ones that I've been painting up recently. So there's like this guy here. This guy's called Beaky. You know, you've got like this little guy here. It's called Grub. So obviously better than pushing around, you know, unpainted plastic. Got old Baron von Fancy hat here. I used to make and create all sorts of planes and water commercial as well as tanks back in the day, but they were quite nice. Yeah, well, here you go. This is for you then, Retronic. Look, what have I got down here? Yeah, there's a tank that I've painted for sort of desert warfare. This is a game called Bolt Action. So yeah, I paint everything from historical to fantasy to science fiction. This game's very heavily inspired by, I mean, even the fact that the company that makes it is called Goblin King Games. It is very heavily inspired by things like The Labyrinth. Anything Jim Henson, Dark Crystal, anything like that is what's influenced this game massively. You can tell it's all over this game. So yeah. Saying that, I have actually painted miniatures for Labyrinth. I had to paint David Bowie once, and a bunch of other miniatures from the game. There is a Labyrinth tabletop game. It's not a very good game, sadly, but the miniatures are quite nice. Ah, brilliant. Cheers, Tony. Thanks, yeah. Cool. What's a good game for starters? If you want to go... So the mainstream, right? So mainstream is clearly Games Workshop. I would recommend Kill Team for 40k. So if you want to go sci-fi, you want to be, you know, machines or aliens or you know, that kind of sci-fi end, then Kill Team's a really good one. You can do Kill Team with, like, you know, 5 or 6 miniatures. So let me grab you some examples. So yeah, this is the 40k game, right? So this is these miniatures are called Thousand Suns, and this is all. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 miniatures, and that's enough to play a game of Kill Team. All right. So these, and as you can see, they're very cool looking miniatures. These are like psychic space warriors. They're pretty cool. Yeah, if you want to go. No, you can go Necrons, so you could have you know, your classic kind of looking Terminator type guys, and this is probably 10 or so miniatures for this. So Kill Team for Space Age. If you want to go fantasy, I would recommend a game called Warcry. Again, Games Workshop, so easy to find, available everywhere, and that's when you can go more Lord of the Rings type stuff. So, you know, things like elves and stuff like that, right? So no laser guns and that sort of stuff, but more like fighting warriors, elves, magic, all that jazz. If you look on my channel, I literally just did a game review of something called Warhammer Underworlds, and that comes as a 2-player starter set, and you get everything you need in there to play a game, and it's about 50 quid. But yeah, there's so many games, man. On my channel, I've probably reviewed most of them. But yeah, I mean, Moonstone's a great game. Moonstone's a bit more boutique, you know, so it's not mainstream, it's not your Games Workshop. It's a much smaller company. The miniatures are a little bit more advanced and stuff like that. Yes, Space Marines. So you've got so these guys are called Grey Knights. These are like there you go. These are big old Space Marines with big old swords and guns. And there's loads of different types of Space Marine. Crikey, if you like Space Marines, you're going to be spoilt for choice. But Games Workshop is, you know, Games Workshop is the big one. That is like the one that's in every game shop going. You know, there's obviously stores for Games Workshop, and there are hundreds and hundreds of little more boutique type games, which arguably can be better. You know, better miniatures, better gameplay, smaller gameplay, so you haven't got a big table. I mean, that's the reason why there's a massive, if you see behind me, there's a massive table. That table is 6 foot by 4 foot. That's because some of the games require tables of that size, so they are massive games. Yeah, 16 bits and bobs. If you want miniatures, mate, and you want to have a crack at something, seriously, drop me a message and I'll give you some, because I've got more miniatures than you could possibly imagine. To say I mean, I paint about 300 miniatures a year. So I've been doing the hobby since 2015. So that's just painted miniatures. And then unpainted miniatures, I have boxes and boxes and boxes. So if it's something you want to get into, and you just want to dip your toe into it, and maybe I don't know if you've got kids or anything. One of the reasons why I did it is because, as much as I love computer games, and I love my kids love technology, and I love technology, it's nice to have a separation from it. So this was a way for us to get around the table, get physical with a game, you know, throw some dice at each other, play some cards, move some miniatures around, and do stuff like that. So it's a nice break from everything. Yeah, have a look on Nerdy Geezer's channel. He did an awesome job of a room tour. But yeah, it's a great little hobby to have, especially if you've got family, because everyone can get involved. My oldest son, he now paints his own miniatures. You know, he has a friends group now that all play together, and it's just something small. I'm gonna dip my toe. Yeah, excellent. Yeah. Well, mate, you know, I don't think you. I think we live quite close to each other. So maybe you could come round one day and you can. I'll certainly hook you up. Right. So this guy's. Yeah, like any hobby though, it's a slippery slope. Once you start getting bits and pieces, you're just like, so I mean, you can't see it, but this half of the room, the half of the room behind me is all retro video gaming. The other half of the room is all miniature wargaming and hobby. So you know, I'll show you. Like I always show this one because you can get cool stuff. You know, you can get big old chaps like this guy, which is a great, he's called a great unclean one. He's got a big old sword. Yeah, this is one of my favorite miniatures. Not my biggest. I've painted one bigger. I've painted a 3-headed dragon, which is, you'll see it on the video, I think. He's up there. He's huge. No, so it turns out me and Nerdy Geezer live, I want to say, a stone's throw away from each other. And I think if you're a pretty good thrower, we're not far off. It was quite funny because you're always a bit cagey about where you live, and you know, when you're talking to people online and stuff, always like that. So when we started chatting, we were like, "Oh yeah, I live near this thing." And he goes, "Oh yeah, I don't live too far away from that myself." And then you always think, "Oh yeah, what does someone mean when they say close?" And then as we started to narrow it down to eventually saying where we live, we're like, "Oh shit, yeah, we literally live around the corner from each other." So it was quite a funny coincidence that's where we were. So yeah, I think if you were an Olympic thrower, I think you could probably get away with saying we're stone's distance away. Well, look at that massive character. Oh, I've definitely got bigger. Oh, bits and bobs. I've got one that's I'll show you this one. This is the largest miniature I own, and it isn't painted. But look at the size. I'll have to show it on this camera because you won't be able to see it on the other one. That is actually a miniature. You can see its wingspan is I can't think of what you're actually seeing. I haven't got it, but there you go. Yeah, that's a massive dragon that needs painting at some point. That is the largest miniature I own. But yeah, I generally I enjoy playing the games with my kids. It really is nice and different from everything else that goes on. That it is a very big miniature. Yeah, I mean, it is classed as so the worst, not worst thing. The strange thing about that miniature is there's different scales, right? So these miniatures I'm painting right now are what's called 28mm scale. Right, maybe more like it might be 32, but 28 is the general size of things. And as you can see from, say, these guys, let's get something like this. So this is what's called 15mm scale. So as you can see, these are a lot bigger to this, right? That dragon is not 28mm scale. That dragon is 15mm scale. So in a game, the things that are meant to go up against that massive dragon is things of this size. So these little tiny men. So the dragon is gigantic in reference to the size it's supposed to represent. And it came from a game called Joan of Arc. And in the game, the dragon takes up an entire section of the board. So it is massive. It doesn't mean anything to people who don't understand the scale system within the game, but trust me, it's even bigger than you think it is because of the size of scale it's representing. It's like going up against a mountain, basically. Yeah, when did I pass my driving test? Yeah, it must have been about the same sort of time. 97, 98, I reckon I passed my driving test. It was a doddle. I think I did it the year... It was either the next year or the year after where they brought in the theory test. I was just before the theory test. No, actually, no, I was the first year of the theory test. I did remember doing a theory test, and it was the simplest thing ever. I don't think they had hardly any questions. I had to go to a place called Sid Cup and sit the test, and it was an absolute doddle. It's literally like things like you're driving along on the road and a ball rolls out into the road. Do you speed up, slow down and prepare to stop, or mount the curb or something like that? It was and now he's an electric mountain bike. That's cool. Started driving in the late 90s, way before the series test came in. And I had to experience with 2 driving instructors, so it stopped. Yeah, I remember I had 13 lessons, and I passed after 13 lessons. Because I remember the driving instructor saying I should have more, and I was like, well, mate, to be honest now, we're just literally, I'm getting in your car every week, giving you money to just drive around. I'd rather put that into my own car, thanks. Had me 13 lessons, passed me test, and off I went. It is significantly more difficult now, and costly. Yeah, we've been looking at electric bikes for my son, Lee, but I'm a little bit worried he'll do himself in. Like, you see the scooters now, people go crazy on those scooters. Oh yeah, 16 bits and bobs, we must be similar-ish ages then, because I'm pretty sure mine was the first year of the test as well. I might be a year or two older than you, I reckon, because I didn't immediately go into driving. I didn't really see the point. I didn't have a need to. But my first car was a Ford Fiesta XR2, and that cost me a frickin' fortune in insurance. But that was a pretty cool first car, and I didn't crash it. I did drive like a frickin' idiot, but I didn't crash it. Yeah, electronic. It's all. I mean, it's all the tests now, isn't it? Crikey. You have got to be. It is a lot harder, I think, to get it than it was back when I did it, for sure. I think this whole hood is meant to be red, so I'm gonna do the whole hood. Yeah, I wish, you know how we always regret how we threw things away, like our old video games and old stuff. I wish I'd kept my XR2, because it was mint. Like, I was part of the XR owners club and all this sort of stuff. It had original pepper pot wheels. It had a stealth shelf with the speaker system in. It had all of the cool stuff. The stereo was awesome. The car used to bounce. And it was proper mint, and I eventually sold it a number of years later, and the woman who bought it off me smashed it up. And I remember seeing her, because I knew her from one of my first jobs, and I was like, oh, how are you getting on with the car? And she went, oh, Mark, yeah, I had an accident in it, so it's been scrapped now. And I was like, no, oh man, I literally nearly cried. I was gutted, because to buy an XR2 now they are expensive cars. But I had great fun driving that car. Like, in today's standards, it's nothing. But at the age of, I was probably 18, I think. The first time I sort of went round and roundabout and dropped it down to second and floored it, and it just thrown into your seat, and well, it definitely felt like that back in the day. I'm sure it wasn't that, but the XR2 was a fast little car back in the day. I nearly got into a whole lot of trouble with that car. But it was totally worth it. Yes, those cars are I did actually look at getting one. I did look, and I think even a cheap one was about $7 grand for a, because I had an F-Reg, so I wanted to get exactly the same car again. And I think to get a really nice one that had been looked after, you were talking more like 10 grand, I think. Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Yeah, I think, you know, the ability to, you just don't even think about it. But I think not being able to drive, I would really feel it. So, you know, when I went up and saw Sega Zombies shop and stuff like that, you know, you don't even think about it. You just jump in the car and go. So, yeah, I can imagine from an independence point of view, super important. But obviously, you know, if you've had some horrific experience, I can also understand that might make you sort of a bit hesitant to get on the roads, because let's face it, there is a lot of idiots on the road. I was about to say I don't know how old I am. I'm 42. I'm 43 this year. I think when you get to like your 40s, it just doesn't mean anything anymore. I generally haven't felt any different since I was in my 30s. Well, actually, ever. Do you ever feel? I never felt older. I feel a bit more creaky and a bit more, you know, bits and pieces like that, but you don't feel older. Yeah, I used to cycle in London when I used to work in town. I used to use the old Boris bikes to get around, but I was luckily nothing bad, but I was pinned between a van and sort of the sidings and the curbs. He just pulled over into me. Now luckily we were doing it quite slowly, but that sort of stuff was like, if this had been going at any pace, I'd have been on the floor. So it's like, you know what, I'll sod this. Oh, nice. Well, happy birthday for next week, buddy. Very cool. Yeah, age is a funny one, isn't it? I don't really feel old or like I'm in my 40s, I guess. I don't really think about it. I guess the only thing that ages you, I guess, is your kids. You know, my daughter is, you know, I can remember holding her in the palm of my hand almost because she was so tiny, and now she's just turned, well, she turned 16 last year, you know, and that's a scary thought that, to be honest, she's no longer a kid. Well, she is still a kid, but she's not for very long. I think that sort of makes you feel a bit older. But I never really had a crazy stage. Like, I was always quite sensible. I you know, I was married young, homeowner young, had quite big jobs, you know, that took a lot of responsibility. So I didn't really have the kind of wild years or anything like that. I'm quite boring in that respect. I think he looks only 36 to me. I've had people, I think I look old, but people, this isn't a, you know, I'm not an attractive looking guy. I know what I am, but I do get people say to me they think don't think I'm in my 40s, which is weird because I definitely feel like I look old. So, you know, I'm not going to complain. I mean, it's not like I'm out there trying to work it. I could tell you some stories, Ryan. Yeah. Yeah, I was always the sensible guy. You know, I've always been a very sensible guy. I mean, I don't even drink now. Like, never really. Literally, a couple of years when I was young, like 18, 19, I was a bit of a wild kid, and then, to be honest, I've always been quite, since then, quite sort of, you know, sensible and on it, really. Always thinking about responsibilities and stuff like that. Thanks, man. I thought you were 21. Thanks, buddy. You know. I am, Jim, talking about my wild youth. All meetings complete for the day. 63 minutes left in the workday. Good to hear, Jim. How's the new job going, Jim? Is it good? Are you enjoying it? I've enjoyed my. Well, I tend to think about things in decades. So, definitely my 20s were pretty cool. You know, that's like when I had all my sort of kids and stuff. Then my 30s was where I did like all of my career stuff. That's crazy to think how my 30s started and how my 30s ended. And now I'm in that sort of stage where I'm quite happy now, like just starting to think about taking things more easy. You know? Quite nice to be sort of comfortable in life and be like, you know what, I can just calm down and chill and enjoy things. And of course then you get into the next chapter when like your kids are all grown up and off doing their own things, and then you get like, you know, I want to start traveling the world and stuff. I used to travel a lot for work. I've been to most countries through work, not so much in the East, but definitely Europe and sort of America and stuff like that. But a lot of the time you're in and out, like for work and stuff. You're sort of I've done Mexico in a day before. I've flown to Mexico, worked there for a day, and then flown home again. So you know, I would like to revisit some of these places that I've been, because I can technically say I've been to these places, but what I mean is I've been to an airport, a hotel, an office, maybe a restaurant. and then come home again. So I'd like to go back to these places that I went to and genuinely, you know, get a bit of culture, spend some time there. Got out of the old job just in time. Oh, that's great to hear, Jim. That's great to hear. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure getting off the train of the set, cooking up some chicken because of the dancing games. Yeah, awesome 16 bits and bobs. Thank you for joining. I need to know how to get on the Games Master, man. So I need to message you about getting on the Games Master. I've got to do it. Whether you just need me to send you a little bit of a vid of me asking a question or something, I need to definitely do that. Wow, Retronic's got me at 34, man. Nice. It's the hat. The hat does it all. You know. Yes. See you later, buddy. Well, I'm really glad to hear that, Jim. I'm glad that the new place is making you happy, my friend. That is always very positive to hear. Oh, it's been absolutely brilliant tonight. Thanks to everyone who's hung out. I'm probably going to go for another half an hour. 9:30. Oh, I can turn that airbrush off now. That airbrush is kicking in for some reason. Yeah. We'll clock up the 2 hours. Yeah, so the nice thing about, I don't know if you can tell what I'm doing here, but with what's called contrast paint, which is a paint by GW, it's quite a wet paint, and it allows you to do, well, one, it sinks into recesses, so it gives you shadows and highlights, but it also allows you to do like really simplified, what's called wet blending. So what I'm trying to do here is I want it to be really dark green, sort of eerie smoke. And obviously as it rises, the smoke goes into more clear grey smoke. So just trying to tease that up a little bit. So you kind of get an impression that the smoke is dissipating as it sort of goes up. Oh, that's good. Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, I've always... this side of the hobby, the game, that's what was originally being done. Like I used to, I mean, I'm streaming on Twitch right now. I've never been a big channel. I've always been really small. But it's always been about the tabletop hobby side of things. And then more and more, I mean, I've always enjoyed video gaming, always. And then actually watching you guys, I was like, yeah, you know what? I could probably do a bit more on that side as well. So now I kind of split between the tabletop wargaming and the retro video gaming, and I've genuinely really enjoyed it. And the retro community has been fantastic. I've genuinely not had a bad run-in with anybody. Everyone's been super nice and supportive. been very lucky. And it's the same with the miniature wargaming hobby as well. There's some really great communities out there to be part of, and great individuals. Right, with these trousers, I'm probably gonna do stripes because there are stripes already in the trouser. So I'm gonna do a base color, probably of blue, and then come in with like a yellow afterwards. Coming soon, third channel, all about historical wargaming. Dude, you've got that entire field sewn up. I can't top you on historical wargaming. The thing that I might do, because it's been mentioned a few times, is with other YouTubers, maybe do a D&D campaign or something, which I'd be up for doing if anyone was interested in doing it. So, you know, I've got all of the gear. I've even got tables I could set up, and I could stream it to people so that they could take part, and I could DM it. That might be something I'd try and do this year. I think that would be actually quite cool. Like a YouTuber's D&D game. People seem to really like the projected maps I can do and other bits and pieces, so I could incorporate that into the whole thing. The people that are watching can actually see what's happening in a sort of tabletop representation, not just what the players are talking about and stuff, especially for fights and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm kind of cool. It's funny enough, we were talking about it the other day. For me, this is part of the hobby, so I don't do. Like, I know people say, "Oh, I was only saying that because of this, that, and the other." For me, the YouTube side of what I do is as much a part of the hobby as the game playing and the painting. I would not paint as much as I paint if I didn't have the ability to live stream it. It's weird; they've almost become part of each other. So when I'm sitting there painting a miniature, I love having a live stream. I love having the stream on because I can paint and chat. Otherwise, you just sat on your own. Like, I'd be sat here on my own, just painting in a miniature, which I would do, and of course I did do that in the past. But I tell you what, it's so much more enjoyable painting and chatting with people. So it's, for me, almost like it just happens. Like, if I'm going to sit here and paint, I'm going to put the stream on, and I'm going to see if anyone out there wants to chat. So I'm not doing it because I want to become some massive YouTube channel or Twitch channel or anything else. It's just part of it. And if one person joins, brilliant. I'll have a chat with that person. I've streamed many times where no one's joined. I've just left the stream on, I've got the music on, and I'm chilling and I'm doing my thing. You know, if the channel ever hits a big number, like let's say we hit 1,000, that's brilliant. But you know, as I've said before, I probably won't even turn on. In fact, I almost guarantee I don't turn on monetization because, frankly, I don't need to worry. I don't want to have to worry about the tax because I already have an accountant that has to do a load of stuff, and I have to prove loads of stuff to. I don't need another thing that I have to do that for. So it's probably more hassle than it's worth to get a few quid a month, frankly. And then I also think there's pressure. So you've all got things in our lives, be that family and friends and jobs and all the stuff of it. I think if you've got a huge channel, let's say 10,000 people are subscribed to your channel, there has to be pressure there to make sure you're constantly delivering value, right? No, that's true, Jim. No, Jim, you do always support me. You're right, but I have streamed many times with no one here. But Jim, you're an absolute legend. I ran an online RPG for about 3 months. Definitely fun, but a lot of work. Yes, yeah, I know, man. Well, you do amazing sessions. But yes, Jim, you are Easily one of my most loyal, if you could have a thing, viewers on Twitch certainly, and obviously on YouTube as well. So yeah, I think if you get huge, even at 1,000, I would feel like there's pressure there to do more and more, better and better, and then it becomes almost job-like. And I don't do hobbies to have a job. I already have a job, and it's a job that puts a lot of pressure on me and all this sort of stuff, and requires a lot of my thought. And this is all about not thinking. This is all about just chill. It genuinely has to be chill time for me. So I don't get involved in dramas. I don't get involved in anything beyond just the pure joy of the thing. So if that's painting miniatures, I just want to chill and paint miniatures. I'm not going to do all the research in the world about it. I'm not going to do it. I just want to enjoy, throw some dice, play a game. And the same with retro video gaming. I love video games. I love playing games. I'm not going to get involved in all of the ins and outs of the politics of it all. Yeah, and hopefully that's what it feels like. It feels like it's a chill out. It feels like this is real downtime that we all need in our lives, right? We all need to be able to switch off and just chill. Yeah, you're right, Jim. And I think a lot of people have that goal of 1,000, because 1,000 is the first milestone, right? And as far as I've been told, it's the hardest milestone. Once you get 1,000, things tend to progress quickly. So I would love to get 1,000 on YouTube. Of course I would, because who wouldn't? But I'm not going to worry about not getting it. I'm not going to go, oh, I need to ramp up the content and all this. I'll just do it as and when I feel like it, you know? And I can't imagine why I would turn on the monetization side of things. Because, I mean, even when it happened with... I mean, if you want to earn money, if you want to be in this for earning money, Twitch is so much easier. I mean, you can get paid subscribers on Twitch almost with hardly any effort. I can't remember what the limits are now, but they're very low. And then, you know, you could drive revenue from that. And that's £2.50 every time someone subscribes. So I think speed, if you're happy to do live streaming, Twitch is a much faster way to make money. Yeah, I just genuinely want to enjoy it. I just want to enjoy it. And I'm very, very lucky that at the moment it's extremely enjoyable. I'm enjoying the YouTube content creation, doing the little videos, doing the little bits and pieces, and I'm still enjoying the streaming, which is how this all started for me. It all started by streaming over on Twitch, and then I currently stream on both Twitch and YouTube, and I'm kind of deciding whether I stick with one or drop the other, you know. There are big Twitch streams for miniature painting. I think it's probably much harder for me to get an audience on Twitch now compared to YouTube. But I don't know, yeah. I'm just here to enjoy the community. I never have been to make money or become famous. Yeah, exactly. And that's what the best thing I've got out of this is I've got a whole new bunch of mates. And I've never really had lots of mates before. But I can actually, and you know, like, you know, Lee, Nerdy Geese around the corner. I'm seeing Retro Chef at the weekend. You know, other people that I'm seeing, Sega Zombie, I've been up and seen. So there's a bunch of people that I didn't know. You know, I know me and Jim, who's over on Twitch at the moment. He lives in Florida, yet we've met up in person. You know, in Ireland when we went over there and played games. I've met a bunch of people in the community that I only know through being either on Twitch, YouTube, or part of a website community that I've now met in person. So I've got genuine friends that you know. I can absolutely say that they are mates. Well, that's way more important than earning £100 for some adverts, you know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is a really cool thing. 100% cool thing. And I don't want to, and that's not an entitled thing, because absolutely, for some people, if they can make a living out of doing this, then hats off to them. Really, really cool. I couldn't make, you know, I would have to be a gigantic channel to, not gigantic, but a bloody big channel to we have to not work. I guess the only thing that would be nice, and I kind of got this a little bit in the tabletop hobby, is to the point where maybe it self-funds itself. So it doesn't happen very often, but I do get sent products by companies to either paint or build and do videos on, and that's quite nice because that's the hobby self-funding itself. Like, I'd have maybe picked up those miniatures anyway. I mean, the War Cradle Wild West Exodus stuff, I think overall they sent me a few £100 easily, maybe even like £300 worth of stuff over a period of time, like 6 months, which I was probably, yes, I probably would. I would have picked it up myself, you know, because it's a great little game. But that way the hobby paid for it. Like, I didn't have to go and do it, and I didn't have to do anything apart from create some videos and all that sort of jazz, you know. So that would be the only thing that would be quite nice, because then you're not taking money out of the family, you're doing it through your hobby. So that's quite cool. Yeah. Yes, definitely still want to go and see Gaming Grandad. We just need to sort out a time to do it when you're off, power. So yes, I have a box of stuff for him. Yeah, it's good to see him back. Yes, very nice. And that's also saying, yeah, as Jim has put there, if in the hobby, the miniature side of things, if you wanted to make, if I wanted to be a bigger channel, I would just paint Space Marines. I would just paint Warhammer 40k. I wouldn't even do anything else. I wouldn't even do Star Wars. I would just do 40k miniatures. And I would paint the number one, you know, I'd look at what are the best ones. So, you know, Space Marines, Chaos Marines, Sisters of Battle, and a few others, and just paint those, and people would watch. In fact, that's the only time I get viewers. The most time I get viewers is when I'm doing Warhammer. If I change the stream right now on Twitch to, I'm in the art section right now on Twitch. If I was to change over to the Warhammer section and start painting, you know, these guys, my view count would instantly start going up. You know, I would have, you know, maybe 20-25 people watching, and then I may even get raided by someone. But I'm currently sat in the art section where there is people doing knitting, painting, whatever, and no one sees this stuff. Yeah, Jim, you're 100% right, mate. Yeah, if you wanted to make money, just paint something else. But then where's the fun in that, eh? I mean, there are people on Twitch right now who are painting Warhammer miniatures, and there are hundreds of people watching. I mean, it's not only, I mean, I don't want to be harsh, it's also very skilled painters that are painting at the upper, you know, the upper echelons of sort of skill levels. So there is a huge, like I said, I'm not a great painter. I'm a good tabletop painter. I can make a miniature look, as you've seen, okay. I can make them look nice, but I'm not going to be winning any awards anytime soon. So yeah, I guess in summary, if I could ever get the channel to the point where maybe I was getting sent product, or I was you know, something like that, where it was able to add back to the hobby, that would be cool. I wouldn't say no to that, but I highly doubt that's the case, because I think really in YouTube's world, I'm very lucky that the people that I work with in a hobby space, I know them, so you know, I don't think they'd ever entertain working with me, frankly, if I wasn't, you know, in a sort of, you know, long-term sort of working together environment. I don't have the numbers. I don't have anywhere near the numbers. And I guess, and I think let's imagine to be sent a Switch review code or something, I think you need a massive channel. So yes, yeah, yeah. It's good to see Gaming Grandad sort of back on form, as it were. His last couple of videos, he looks like he's enjoying it again, which is good. I was collecting the figures of Star Wars back in the day, Jim, but when we moved house, our parents got rid of. Oh man, we've all got that story. Yeah. Whatever happened to my He-Man? Whatever happened to my Visionaries? I think my Action Force. Oh man, I had so many Action Force. I don't know if I had Star Wars toys. I think I went more Action Force than Star Wars. You need to get them back, Lee. You need to, do some sort of covert stealth mission. Uh, 2018, 2019, I think I bought most of the miniatures that I built. Yeah. Yeah, Junior, that's cool. That's where you want to get. That's if you can get to the point where the hobby is funded itself, I think that's a pretty good success. Either being sent miniatures or things like that. The funny thing is, again, you feel that pressure, and it takes away from the hobby a little tiny bit, because obviously, if you're sent stuff, you then feel quite obligated. Like, you'd always give an honest. I would never not give my honest opinion of something, but I would still feel pressure to do good by it. I'd still want to do a good video or a good review, even if it was negative, like I really didn't like it. I'd still want the quality of what I was presenting to be high. So. I would never lie about something. If I didn't like it, I'd say I didn't like it. But I'd still want to make that look good, and therefore I'd feel the pressure to do it. Well, this guy is starting to come together. I'm liking the way he looks. I mean, he's nowhere near finished. This is quite a long way from finished, this guy. But you can start to see how he's going to look. You're getting that sort of. It's starting to take a bit of shape. Especially if I was to then sort of. Where's that yellow? Actually, no. I'd go with. Go with grey sear. So what I need to do with this guy is use the grey sear here to sort of almost erase the blue. So we're going to make blue stripes. The only time you need a bit of a steady hand if you're painting trying to paint straight lines and stuff. But yeah, so the point is that once this is done, I'll then go back with the yellow and put yellow stripes in his blue trousers. But rather than trying to do yellow over the blue, which won't look good, you sort of use this grey here to sort of block it out, and then it makes the yellow that much easier to do. A bit more fiddly, but got a bit of asterisks about it at the moment. Yeah, there we go. So then I can come back with the yellow on this, and yes, there is a Resident Evil tabletop game. Yep, there's actually a Resident Evil 2 and the Resident Evil 3 tabletop game. I don't know if they've done the original Resident Evil yet, but certainly number 2 and 3 they have. It's by a company called I want to say Mantic, but I don't think it is. Resident Evil 2 board game. Is it Mantic? Oh, Steamforged. Steamforged games. They're also the people that do the Dark Souls, the board game, which I own, and I've painted Dark Souls, the board game, and it's really good. But yes, there is a Resident Evil board game. Yeah, company called Steamforged Games. I think it's half good. I think it's supposed to be quite good. It does look a bit like the guy from Resident Evil, yeah. Oh, I've missed a bunch of chat. I need to catch up on the chat a little bit. Let's have a look here. I think it was just about... There's another hurdle to become a big channel. Independent. Sit rep depends on how fast your velocity. If you don't, well, it's great. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And again, yeah, it depends on whether you're willing to do that, right? And I think it comes across. I think you can tell when people aren't being honest about whether a product's good or not. You can see it. It's like, it's pretty obvious to me. So like, there's no way you actually think this is good. It looks terrible. I don't miss having over 1,000 here. They had more trolls and supporters demand. I think that's the difference, isn't it? When you hit that 1,000, it's I think the expectations go up. People probably do turn on you a little bit. I mean, it will happen. It will happen. I guess. As long as I would imagine, as long as you, it just depends on whether it takes 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, you know, as long as you're creating content, I imagine you will inevitably hit the mark. So yeah, I guess it's just a matter of time. So my channel personally is slowed down. I mean, I had a lot of growth when I started doing it, you know, from about October time, the channel doubled in size, because I started putting content out, basically. No surprise there. But now, the last few months, actually the last month, this January, there's nothing really happening, you know. I'm putting videos out, but they're not really getting viewed. And I'm not doing anything different, as in I'm not that I wouldn't do it. Not me saying I won't do anything different. I don't think I'm putting out similar content and similar stuff. So it's just the way it is. I could definitely stop doing YouTube videos, I will always stream. As I said, it has become part of the hobby for me. Streaming will. I would happily stop creating videos, but continue streaming. On that note, it is 9:30, so I need to finish up and I will definitely be back during the week, I reckon. Yeah, so this guy's got this one we've got the most progress on so far, so I'll give you a quick look at him. And this is what I would call the base layer stage. So all I've done is blocked out colors. So the skin's in the pink, the helmet, the sort of cloth helmet, the chain, the ball, the smoke, the trousers. This is all kind of like that initial set of layers. From this, I'll start doing the shadows and the highlights and the tweaks in stuff. So, but you can get a general gist of what it's looking like at this stage, right? You know, you can extrapolate a little bit on top of that. And then there was the jackalope, which you can see. All I was looking for in the beginning was a nice coverage on the fur, and then a transition into the belly and the face, the sort of chest area to be a slightly different color. But again, loads of work to be done. The antlers don't look too bad either. They've got a bit of a brown and dark tinge to them, so that's what I was looking for. Yeah, so you know, we got good progress done. Thank you very much for hanging out this evening. Retronic, Nerdy Geezer, 16 Bits and Bobs, Jim, Mariskini, you know, Retro Chef. I think Sire dropped in earlier. I think a whole bunch of people have been in and out throughout the channel, throughout the session. So, gaming, not going off the grid. Oh man, the name's just gone out of my head. Why have I forgotten the guys' names? Oh Jesus, I'm terrible remembering people. I need to get a better memory for names. I love these guys as well, and their name has just disappeared out of my head. Oh, this round's on me, for God's sake. This round's on me. I don't know. I think everyone sort of drops in and drops out, but, you know, I want to shout out everybody anyway. Cheers, everybody. Thank you very much. Retrotronic Collector, thank you. Tony, thank you very much. Sorry, I will get used to calling everyone by their name. I will see you all real soon, okay? So, yeah, have a great rest of the evening and rest of the week, and hopefully not too long. If you're over on Twitch, give us a follow. If you're over on YouTube, give us a like and a subscribe. Hit the like button if you wouldn't mind. That'd be amazing. And I'll catch you all soon. All right. Bye-bye.